Hey y'all, I'm in the kitchen today and I'm going to be making tortilla soup. Now, in some places it's not quite getting cooler outside. We may be at 89 degrees today, but I wanted to get this video out before the cool weather hits so that you can go out and buy the ingredients ahead of time. It's a very easy soup to make. It's one of those things that my kids have eaten growing up and never gave me an issue. It uses a whole chicken as the main ingredient, and we throw in some beans and onions and tomatoes and corn, and then we crumble up tortilla chips on top and put a little sour cream and some cilantro and some cheese. I like it better than chicken noodle soup, but then I am a Texan and we're used to more of a Tex-Mex lean on things. So let's get started making this tortilla soup. Now the first thing you're going to want to do is to cook your chicken. And because some people like to know how much things cost, this chicken cost me $8.44. So let's get this into the crock pot. And now that I have it in the crock pot, I'm going to want to cover this with water. Just completely cover it with water. And now that it has plenty of water in it, we're going to add some pepper and some salt. All right. Now I'm going to put the lid on it and cook this until the meat falls off of the bone. So that could be several hours. It depends on the type of chicken, the size of the chicken that you've bought. And mine's fairly big. So I'll come back this afternoon and this will probably be done 2-ish, and it's 10 now. Yeah, about 4 hours. I'll see if it's ready yet. So I'm going to set my crock pot here and be back. Now the easiest way to check and see if your chicken is ready is just take a pair of tongs, grab a leg, and lift it up. If it falls off real easy, then it's ready. This one's, I'm having to tug a little bit, so I'm going to let this cook an hour longer. This should literally just fall off the bone. That's how I like it. So we're going to let this keep cooking for an hour more, and I'll be back. Alright, let's try this again. Grab a leg and see if it falls off. And it did. So let's try a wing. Yep, they're just falling off. So it's time to take the chicken out of the crock pot. Alright, well this chicken's very hot, so be careful not to burn yourself, but you're going to take it and move it over into a bowl so it can start to cool off. Grab all the extra pieces that are in your crock pot that you can grab, and then we are going to strain the broth to make sure that we didn't leave any bones in there. I raised 6 children, and leaving bones in soup would not have been a good thing. You don't want your kids or your family choking on bones, and you never know. So, get all that chicken out of there. Then we'll move on to the next thing. I'm going to set that chicken aside so that it can start cooling. Now I take a second bowl, and then I set a colander down in it. Grab my pot holders. Then I pour the broth into the bowl. I like to do this over the sink so I don't get it anywhere, but to show y'all, I can't do it over the sink, so we're just going to do it over here. Alright, put that back in the crock pot. I did spill some, but we'll clean it up in a few minutes. Anyway, so then just lift the colander. And if there were any bones in there, I would have caught them in the colander. So, there we go. Can pour the broth back into the crock pot. very carefully. Alright, next we're going to dice up an onion and get that into the crock pot with the broth still in it. If you like a lot of onion, you can put 2. I'm just going to put 1 in this one. Just throw that into your crock pot. Next, we're going to do a couple of celery, a little bit of celery, not a whole lot, just a little bit. If you want it smaller, you can dice it up real small. It's up to you. We don't mind it being the larger chunks like this. Gonna dump that in my crock pot. Now I'm going to put a can of black beans, a can of diced tomatoes, and a can of corn. I'm going to drain. So I'm going to drain the corn and drain the black beans, drain and rinse the black beans, but I'm not going to drain the tomatoes. Alright, we're going to pour this into the crock pot. There we go. And I'm just going to add the diced tomatoes to the crock pot. Going to cut an onion, I'm going to cut a lemon in half. And then I'm going to squeeze this into my crock pot. Now that we've added all of that, I'm going to check it and see if I maybe want to add some more stuff to it besides the chicken, which is cooling off still. Depending on who's here, who's eating, I may add some more stuff to it. That's up to you, but you do want to add at least what I've already added so far. So I think I'm going to add a can of kidney beans to it. And of course you're going to drain and rinse your kidney beans as well. Those in there. And there we go. I like the way that looks better, even without the chicken in there. Alright, so next I'm going to put a package of taco seasoning in here. After you've added your taco seasoning, you can taste it and see if you want to add a second packet or some salt and pepper, whatever, chili seasoning, paprika, whatever you want to add. Just, this is to taste. And remember, the chicken's not in here yet. I'm not concerned about it because the chicken is cooked. Now my goal is to get these vegetables cooked. I'm going to add a little bit more salt and some pepper. And then I'm going to put the lid back on, after I stir it, of course, and let these vegetables simmer until they are tender. So I'll be back in probably about 20 minutes to debone the chicken and put the chicken in here, but for now let's let these vegetables cook. Alright, Now that the chicken is cool enough to actually touch with your fingers and not get burned, I'm going to start deboning it. So anything I don't want in my soup, I put into this bowl that I will give to the raccoons or something later. The rest I put back in the crock pot. So just go ahead and make sure you don't have any bones. Some people don't like brown meat, some people do, but nobody likes to find bones in their soup. So make sure you get them, especially these thin little things here. Those can choke you to death. That wouldn't be good. So just gonna keep going through it one piece at a time. Now, whatever Tommy and I don't eat, I will be canning. I'm not gonna do a video on how to can it, but if you know how to can, and you know that you can can soups. Let me get a fork. So these big chunks like this, don't really want to put that in your soup, so break them up into smaller pieces and put that in your soup. Now, if you're short on time and you've boiled your chicken in advance, you can take all those vegetables and saute them in some butter on the stove and then add them to the mixture, so you don't have to wait so long for the vegetables to get soft. But I have another 2 to 3 hours until Tommy gets home, so I have plenty of time to let those vegetables sit there and cook. It is still hot. You can't see that on the camera, but it is hot. Just gonna keep deboning this and checking, make sure there's no bones, tearing it to pieces, and then I'll be back. All right, the chicken is back in here. The vegetables are not soft yet, so I'm going to put the lid back on here and let this simmer in the crock pot for probably another hour or two. And I will be back when it has reached that stage. And now that my vegetables are done, I'm going to put in some chopped up cilantro. If you don't like cilantro, leave it out. Then you take some tortilla chips and you just crush them and add as much as you want. It was about 3 handfuls, I think. Stir that in. Let it sit up 5 or 10 minutes, and then we'll be serving it. I'm just going to spoon some into a bowl, making sure I get plenty of chicken. I'm going to crush some more corn chips on top. If you want, you can do it with the fried tortillas, but to me, this is just as good. We're doing the easy version of tortilla soup tonight. Sprinkle some cheese on there. Some sour cream. Stay. And if you want, you can add avocado. You could have put jalapenos or chilies in here. It's up to you. And there you go. Just garnished it with some more cilantro and the sour cream. So that's how you make tortilla soup. Thank you guys for watching, and if you haven't already, please subscribe.